What's up, everyone? We're kicking off a video today that's pretty unique for us to be doing in the middle of the season.
Typically, we aren't receiving snowmobiles midwinter, but with the way supply chain things are right now, that's how it goes. So Jack actually was able to scoop up a 2022 Matryx Chaos / 850, whatever you call it.
There's a lot of words for these things.
146, essentially the ultimate spring sled. And right now, we're going to build this thing out.
Yep, huge thanks to my buddy Chase Yock at Freshies Built. He ordered this thing last spring during the snow check period, ended up moving to Montana, and got a longer sled. So I was able to buy him out of the snow check. That was the only way I was able to get this thing. And yes, this has been in the works for months. I didn't just pick this up because I just sunk my skidoo. But we are going to get into this thing and turn it into really the ultimate spring snowmobile.
So you guys haven't seen a Polaris in our fleet over the last couple of years. We've been on skidoos, cats. So for you Polaris guys, this is it. We're stoked to put some time on this thing, and Jack especially, over the next couple months. But yeah, guys, we're going to get to it and start strapping on a whole bunch of goodies.
Yep, here we go. So we got about 150 miles on this thing over the last 4 days. We've been putting on a lot of miles, actually. And there were a few things that I had to take care of right away out of the box, I noticed. Didn't like the stock handlebar hooks, so I took a cutoff wheel to those, allowing me to get my hands around the outside of the grip a little bit more. Still left a little bump, though, which is kind of cool. Threw a finger throttle on right away. We're big finger throttle guys. Don't at me. And I busted my kill switch on my first bow tie attempt. So when that happened, I realized I better protect the brake reservoir. With this chassis being so short, and these bars being a little bit taller, and me being kind of a long dude, when I'm doing bow ties, I'm smashing the bars into my knees, and that's how I broke the kill switch. So put the Zollinger, the ZRP brake reservoir guard on. That's going to match the wrap really nicely, which you guys will see later in the video. But yeah, I'm going to dial this in. We got a 3D Logic brake lever coming, all sorts of lightweight stuff. We're going to add some power, clutching, the list goes on. So let's tear into this thing. I think we should start with the ZRP stuff. Also ran into town today to grab some oil from Action Motorsports here in Idaho Falls. And found these red ski loops. They're going to go pretty well with that wrap. Also picked up some hardware for the skidoo. And stopped and met up with Chris from 3D Logic, who hooked it up with a brake lever. Now, we're running these on our skidoo. You can see Dylan's here. He's got the little clutch logo engraved. Let me pull this out of the package here. I'll show you guys what makes these different. This is CNC machine billet aluminum, but this breaks away, so it's like a dirt bike style lever, spring loaded, and it's adjustable. Looks like it matches the Zollinger stuff pretty darn well. You can see this Polaris one we got is the shorty. So this is like a one finger action. We'll see, you know, once we get on the sled. But he also makes a longer design. That's for those middle finger brake guys, or you know, if you like to ride with 2 fingers or whatever. But this shorty lever seems pretty cool. One difference I noticed right away is oil consumption on these things. I'm not quite sure how big the tank is, but on my Skidoo Turbo, I can't make it 2 days on a full tank of oil. Those things drink it. I got 4 rides and about 150 miles out of a tank on this thing, and that's in break-in. So it's only going to lean out as it goes, but pretty excited about that because oil ain't getting any cheaper. One thing that's often overlooked is what's underneath your skis. So we've been running these Snow Studs carbide runners this year. This one is for the gripper ski specifically. It's a mountain runner. I'm going to pull it out of the package here and show you a little bit more about it, but precision matters in the backcountry. When we're hitting jumps especially, inches matter, quarter inches matter, everything matters. So these are made from straight stock. They're not a coiled stock that's then straightened out. And they beef up the ski a little bit too. And they're made right in Wisconsin. So we love these guys. We've been running them this season. They haven't let us down yet. So another little difference with the Snow Studs runners versus the stock runners is the shape of them. So I didn't realize this, but the stock runner actually bows out a bit, really exposing this carbide more than anything else, whereas the Snow Studs runner is straight across, might even have a little camber to it, which recesses this carbide a little bit into the ski. You're going to take most of your abuse on this protective weld up front and these wear bars in the back, while still having that grip when you're on the ice on the trail. So that's pretty cool. Next, I'm going to pull the skid out of this thing and put some new rails and wheels under it. We're going to be jumping this thing huge this season. So, especially in the springtime and low snow conditions, don't really trust the stock rails, so we're going to throw some Ice Age bombers on there. Unfortunately, I don't have the shocks yet, but eventually we'll be putting shocks on this thing too. Something interesting that we've come across here in the skid, this bolt that goes between the rear shock here and the front arm appears to be bent. Did hit some pretty big jumps already, bombed this thing out a couple of times, but I'm having a really hard time getting the bolt out of the shaft. So not sure what to do there, if we're just going to jam it back in or not. Might try and find a new one, but yeah, super interesting. Well, it was only a matter of time before it's my turn to figure out where bolts end up at the bottom of a Polaris. Pulling the Y-pipe Allen heads out here, I was doing one with my fingers and lost it. There's a lot of ride characteristics on the Polaris that are way different than the Skidoo. The steering is one of them, so that's something a lot of people talk about on these things. And this is how Polaris has always done it, really. Is we got a vertical steering post that goes to a pitman arm, that goes to another post that then controls your tie rods across. Whereas the Skidoo post is just straight to a race at the bottom, out to the tie rods. So that's been a little bit of a learning curve. The other thing is the Skidoo bars, and I'll show you on Dylan's here, are tapered down and forward a little bit here. And I really noticed that on my wrist, especially using the finger throttle when I'm jumping. And I've really got the bars cranked and my wrist is tilted down. It's a lot more comfortable. Versus the Polaris bar is like straight back. So I've kind of been tweaking the outsides of my wrists when I'm really bent over like this. So I'll probably be looking to change up the bar setup here. Just about to get the exhaust in, and I'm going to tear into clutching and the rest of the titanium stuff in the clutch. The secondary roller assembly is significantly lighter than stock, 62% lighter actually. It's also supposed to decrease resistance with these cool little bearings that go in there, and of course some titanium bolts for the primary and secondary. So super excited about this weight reduction. I also got the faceplate on from the ZRP here with some other tie bolts in the clutch. So that's going to be some significant responsiveness, I think, out of that thing.
Yeah, for sure. All the lightweight stuff that we've done on our Skidoos this far has definitely been noticeable, so I think that's going to be even more exaggerated on this sled.
On our Skidoos, we did lightweight machined flywheel, titanium governor cup bolts in the clutch. We're also going to be doing a lightweight flywheel on this thing and brake rotor. We just need to take a trip down to the ZRP and get that done. For now, we've got some bling. Dylan's throwing on some red ski loops that I picked up at Action Motorsports today. That should match the wrap nicely.
For sure. This thing is going to look cool. The red ski loops and the red brake lever and brake reservoir cover. This thing's going to be trick, not too long.
Thanks, man. Yeah, so that's what we're working on now, and then we're going to start wrapping. Well, not sure if we're going to get the secondary done tonight.
That's bad.
That is bad. We're having some difficulties with our bits twisting. So we had like a, I don't know if I could pull focus on this. So we had a little bit of issue with our bits twisting on our T27s, and that one broke off. I don't think we're going to be able to do the secondary.
No, they put a lot of Loctite on these things in the factory, and I don't know. We don't have the right equipment to do it without stripping it out, so I think we're going to have to pass until a later date.
Yeah. We tried an excessive amount of heat, like an excessive amount of heat for this Loctite, and didn't budge. I mean, we got two of the four. What do we got there?
So here we've got the stock clutch weight pin versus the new ZRP titanium pin. So we're going to replace all of these, and let's see what we got for weight here. This is the stock one. got 15 grams. And here's the ZRP titanium.
9 grams.
9 grams.
That mass is pretty far from the crank too.
Right.
So being on the outside, this stuff all adds up. Like 18 grams itself, not that much, but combined with the secondary stuff, the primary bolts on the outside too, we should weigh those.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes
a big difference.
It does. All right, so Dill's been setting up my primary for me because he's run the Snyper weights on his Skidoo.
Yeah.
Because there's a ton of different ways you can adjust these things. Do you have one, or are they all in?
They're all in.
Okay.
All right. So with these Snyper weights, what's unique about them is you can load magnets from the tip to the heel, all in the belly of the weight. So you've got a lot of adjustment there, and then you also have a set screw that you can put down the middle. So these weights actually go from 64 to 96 grams of adjustment. So you got a lot there. You can run these things from sea level all the way to elevation of 10,000 feet, no problem.
I agree. We aren't sure what's going on in the secondary stock and how that's going to affect the primary. I know we have a steeper helix from Bikeman that we aren't able to put in. So we're going to throw the primary spring that they gave us in. It's a little bit softer, which should bring down our final RPM. On a primary spring, a softer final force will lower your final RPM. So running just a tad more weight in the Snyper weights, a softer primary spring, we're leaving the secondary stock, adding 15-20 horsepower at least, and we're going to see what happens. But I'm going to go clean my hands up, and then we're going to start wrapping. We're in the back of the shop here. We do all of our work out of our trailer, so we don't have much room to roll this wrap out, but here it is. Let's see what this thing's all about. Oh yeah. Now the reason for these colors right here. Yep. Another new Clutch Energy drink flavor. This was our jam this whole summer. 4th of July, the bomb flavor, non-carbonated. Had to theme my sled after it.
ArcticFX Graphics just killing it this year. They were awesome to work with all the Pantone colors on these cans, so they matched perfectly. So stoked to see how spot on that is.
Things are starting to take shape here. We only have a couple pieces on, but I can already tell this is going to be sweet. Dill's firing up the TorqueLink computer. We were going to tune the Polaris, but we realized we have a Skidoo cord. We've got an Arctic cord.
No Polaris cord. So I just decided to plug in my sled. I haven't plugged it in since we flashed it this fall during our sled builds video. So yeah, I just wanted to check in here. What's cool about TorqueLink is it's all cloud-based. So whenever Jared or Joey are working behind the scenes and they come up with a new tune, it's updated automatically, and you can just plug in and reflash your sled. So as you can see, there is a new Stage 2 tune as of January 13th. So I'm going to put that tune in my sled really quick, and she should be good to go.
Yeah, that'll be sweet.
This thing's just unreal, man. It's so effortless now. Oh no! Sorry, guys.
Guy's a little reckless on the hill.
I guess. This 146 doesn't have much stopping power. And snow's a little slick.
Yeah.
Well, at least your hood's already broken.
Yeah.